Hello, fellow Voyagers. Jess here with Odyssey Human. Here today to talk about how to use novelty to bend time and rearrange space. Welcome to the channel. This is the place where we help you hack through the jungles of consciousness so that you can discover the hidden treasures inside of you. My friends, everything is there ready for you to unlock, to explore, and we are going to talk about exploration today. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe. We'd love to have you on the channel. And this all came from this concept today that I really want to talk about, came from a GQ article that came out in 2021. I will link it below. But it's a great reminder to us because I think it's easy to forget that on a day-to-day basis, on a moment-to-moment basis, we can choose novelty, right? Novelty, the unknown, often jumping headfirst into that can cause a lot of fear. And I want to encourage you to embrace that. Where in the last few videos, we've really talked about, automating processes, habituating things, kind of making them invisible. I want to swing to the other side of having our attention captured in the present moment by novelty. So what do I mean when I say novelty? I mean exploration, adventure. I'm using them all as synonyms. And novel experiences have a direct connection to our happiness, right? When we engage in a positive novel experience, that tickles the rewards center of our brain, right? The area of our brain that is associated with rewards kind of gets a little tickle, a little massage, and that feels good, right? There's this certain nervous excitement as something new is unfolding. We're like, whoa, what's happening? And it also captures our attention. Novelty captures our attention and gets us out of our own head, right? It really forces present moment living. And I think this is awesome because the more present we are, the more able that we are to kind of step out of our mental landscape for a little while, to leave our troubles behind, to drop it, to leave it alone, to leave alone the things that are bothering us or vexing us or causing us stress or we're ruminating about, right? Novelty draws us away from that. It's this wonderful force of bringing us into the present moment. And knowing that, having that awareness, we can then indulge in novelty. Right? We can drive a different way to work. We can go to a new restaurant. We can approach a stranger on the street and say hello and start a conversation with them, right? These things this is a tool. Novelty is a tool that we can use to amp up our happiness and give ourselves, it's kind of like the backdoor trick to dropping some of this rumination that we may be doing if we're really engrossed in the problems of our life. Use novelty. One of the ways that I've done this in the past, and we really do bend time and space. Like for the example, let's think about moving, right? When you move, you literally have bent, you've changed spaces, you've changed versions of yourself. You've literally jumped from one timeline to another. And this is a very stark way to do that because in our imaginations, right? Everything is imagination. We really make a distinction between one physical place and another. And so if you change cities, if you change towns, if you literally go to a new neighborhood, you are essentially recreating yourself in a new space through your imagination, and your outcomes will be immediately different. So that's a very extreme example of you're literally rearranging space, right? You've become the version of you that's now living in, Phoenix versus Anchorage versus Miami, right? You have become a different version of yourself. And it's interesting because your total environment has changed. And so you recreate a new environment. Essentially, you start fresh. So this is something I've used in my past when I really am like, I need to not stagnate anymore. I'm ready to be a new version of myself like today. But we can do this on a smaller, more manageable scale than having to move, because moving is a pain in the butt. But we can do this intentionally, with intention. And novelty, how we bend time with novelty. So that's kind of how we rearrange space, but we also bend time. And when we're having more novel experiences, right, we're drawn into that present. We're drawn into the present moment, and time, our perception of time actually slows down. In the article that's linked below, it kind of talks about how when we're kids, time feels so long because we're having all these novel experiences, right? We have all these memories to draw from, and these now imaginal acts that we're re-indulging in of like, oh my gosh, remember when I first went on that roller coaster, or I learned to ride my bike, or I met my best friend, or right? And that's why childhood seems really long. How we perceive time as we get older and we really get habituated in our normal, routines as adults, and like we like that. We find comfort in this, and there's nothing wrong with routine and habit and doing the same thing every day, eating the same meals, every couple weeks. Like we are very habitual creatures. But if we really if we start to get a sense of time is slipping away, time is going really fast. I don't know what I did yesterday, probably because it was it was very similar to what you did the day before. I encourage you, if you want to slow down time, if you want to just get that time back and reclaim it, use novelty. Use novelty. Indulge in novelty in any way that you can, right? Even if it's rearranging your furniture, or, there's so many other ways, cleaning out your fridge. Like I said, going a different way to work, buying some new outfits, right? Doing your hair a different way. There's so many ways we can introduce novelty in our life, and we can use it as a tool, as a cognitive tool, to change our perception of time and rearrange space. But the interesting thing is, we're also changing our body, right? The rearranging of space includes our brain, because novelty makes us more resilient, right? When we're constantly introducing novel experiences to our brain, our mind is challenged. Our brain is challenged. So it challenges both our perception, right? It's working our mind through our perception of like, our imagination is challenged to literally create this experience as we're experiencing it, right? Because we're like, oh, I've never done this before. And so our imagination is like, ooh, I get to generate this experience, and this is the first time we're ever experiencing it. So anything can happen. There's this kind of excitement in the mind. You're expanding your cognition, but you're also expanding the physical structures of your brain, because you're forming new neural pathways. You are, you're not doing the same old things, right? We've carved out these paths in our brain of doing the same stuff. And then when novelty comes in, it actually gives the neuroplasticity in our brain a chance to activate, of like, ooh, let's form some new connections. And you'll often find that, and the article says, you get this high that continues into the following days after the experience, right? Because those new neural connections have been formed, you get some ideas, you have those good memories kind of pop through, you tell people about what you did, like, oh my gosh, I went and climbed this mountain, or I went and tried this new restaurant or food, and it kind of, that high lingers. So it's actually changing the structures in your brain, making you more resilient, right? Those new neural connections make you more resilient, and able to deal with unexpected change in the future that may come through your experience, and make you more resilient in dealing with it, because novelty essentially expands us in every way possible. It expands our bodies through the activity of our brain, but it's also, like I said, expanding our cognition, our perception, and it really just, it is an incredibly transformative tool that we can use, that we forget that we have at our fingertips at any moment. So shed your old self, whether that's moving to a new city, taking the leap into a new job, embrace these things as evolutionary mechanisms to let yourself grow, right? You're growing your mind, you're growing your brain, you're growing your body, you are growing in resilience. And so just by indulging in the power of novelty, so I encourage you today, do one new thing today. Do one new thing and reap the benefits of it. And remember this video, that you have literally bent time and rearranged space by doing so. So thanks for watching. I know this was helpful for you. Go ahead and drop a comment below if you have anything to add to this conversation. I'm happy to engage with you. And if you do need a tool to make your mind a more safe, hospitable, pleasant place to be and feel more in control of your emotions, I have that in the description box below. That is always available to you for free. So go ahead and pick that up if you haven't already. And if you want to reach out to me, my email is in the description box. So there we go. Have a great day.